Hi, everybody. We're back at it again. I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year's and a wonderful holiday season. And we are back with more crowdfunding coverage. Today, we are covering all the best hits of 2025. Now, we're not going to cover anything that broke over $1 million. I'm going to do that in a separate ranking video. I realized I always want to do that at the end of the year, and I forgot completely. So I want to go back and see which of those that were eligible for 5 reasons you shouldn't back are the ones that I'm struggling with, and which of them I really don't care about at all, because they're going to be both. There's going to be both in two camps. But also, I wanted to go through, and before we get back into our regularly scheduled crowdfunding countdown, I like scrolling through everything in 2025 and sort of ranking my top. So I'm going to go through and do that now and rank maybe a list of 30. I don't know. What I do is I go through that list and I click on everything that I remember. And what's really cool is that I do remember a lot because I devote a decent amount of time reading through the rulebooks and understanding the games. And so the ones that I remember mechanically that jump out, I'll click on and I'll sort, and I'll go through and talk about what my favorites were for the year. This is out of, what did we start at? If we look, we started at 2,577 campaigns, and we finished, what was our finishing number? Our finishing number at the end was 3589. So we covered 1,012 campaigns last year were covered. And I'm going to pick the best 3%, which I'm excited about. It's going to be a good January. I've got a lot of fun videos planned. But before we get into that, I do want to give another huge shout out to all of my Patreon supporters. Anyone who's supported on Patreon. I said this in another video, and I'm going to probably keep saying it. If you get 50 cents worth of value from Crowdfunding Countdown, you could spend $2 a month. And if everybody who watched Crowdfunding Countdown did that, I would be able to just do this and devote even more and more time into the channel. I'm making this a year, and I'm going to have a full video about this as the state of the channel, so I'm not going to go into it too much. I'll have that later this week, probably Friday or Thursday. Tomorrow, I've got a really fun playthrough that Zach and I just did. We filmed a couple days ago for a new game coming out, which we both really enjoyed. But yeah, if you are financially able to donate $2 a month, $20 a year, that could make a meaningful difference in the health of the channel. I'm going to spend more and more time on the channel this year. I've been a little bit reduced in my role at World Series of Board Gaming, and so just want to refocus up and really make this my primary focus, along with any of my acting contracts that come up. But some awesome people, a lot of people heard that call and became Patreon members and have signed up for the Discord, and I just want to say, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys friggin' rock. I want to shout out Glenn. I want to shout out Ian. I want to shout out Bjorn. I want to shout out H. Hughes, Peanut Butter Turtles, Kent, Amanda, Martin, Dean, Andre, Hextra. All of you are awesome. You really, really are. You're all so friggin' great. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel. I'm glad that I can provide some small amount of entertainment and some teeny amount of information for you all. And right now it is truly funded by you all. You're the majority of the funding that goes into room and board. And so I want to make this channel for you and about you. And I just want to say thank you for believing in the channel. So thank you a bunch. And now let's get into the week, starting with number whatever it is when I make this list. So I'm going to make this list. I'll be back in a second. Well, I mean, a good start to the year. Oh, dang. That would have made the list if it wasn't a $1 pre-pledge. Oh, all these backer kit ones. Wilt. I've got 35 tabs open. But I figured I'd also talk about my least favorite campaign to start us off, which is Crokinole. Don't ever get a Mayday Games product ever at all because they suck. Just as people. And probably as products. Allegedly. Oh, I also wanted to give an update. I mean, nobody really cares, but, I was going through and saw it. I have played Neon Hope now, and I stand by my expectation of what it was. It didn't really draw me in. I found the narratives to not be super interesting, but the checks were fine. It was just kind of like a fine game. But the people who I've interacted with over at Hopeful Games are, quite nice people. So they get a shout out for being nice, but it definitely wasn't for me. So let's start it off. Okay, this is actually number 36. This is an honorable mention now. We did a dishonorable mention, a middle mention, now we have an honorable mention. Honorable mention goes out to Ludos America. This is the team from Lemery Games as well. I just love seeing it do so well. I think they're such a lovely couple. Christina and Tomas are awesome. And I love this as a concept. I think these are all really reasonably priced. I love that they give you print and plays. That's awesome. And during the campaign, you could pledge what you want just for a single abstract game. I don't need these abstract games in my collection personally. They don't hit with me that much. And I don't find myself reaching for them, but they are like really old classics, which are great. And yeah, I like what they stand for. I like that they are preserving these sort of old games, these old games founded in before games were invented. These games were being played by a bunch of different civilizations, and I think it's really cool. I think it's a really cool project, even if I don't resonate with it that much. So that's our honorable mention. So basically how I determined this list is I just went through the crowdfunding campaign and I said, what do I remember? And I clicked on it. And then I said, no, that's not so good. Or I remember that, but I'm not going to click on it. But really, that's kind of how we went through this list and pulled everything out. And I thought this one looked really neat. This was put forward by Ted Ed. It's not really a board game. It's an escape room game style. Oh, but it cost $1 million. Okay, so I could add this to my 5 reasons. So I'm going to add that to my 5 reasons list of the $1 million campaigns. So we got 34. We got 34. And we're going to start with this one, Isle of Feathers. I wish it was just called Strange Birds. I stand by that, or Weird Looking Birds. I think that would be a much better title. But I thought this one looked neat. Your tiles down in a spatial way to create habitats and like landmarks for your birds, and when you do, you can play the birds and kind of set, collect, or score them. So it's really all about this spatial puzzle that's going on. I thought it was really cool, definitely memorable, kind of reminds me a little bit of Habitats. So yeah, I'll be interested to see when that one drops and how it's received and how well it's received. That's pretty much it. Hey, this might be a quick video. The majority of the work might happen off screen, but I'm sure I will talk in greater detail as my excitement builds up. Next up, we've got Earth and the Animal Kingdom expansion. And maybe it's because now I've played a lot more Earth with my involvement in the World Series of Board Gaming, and I got to commentate on it with the designer, Max. So that was cool. But what I really like this as an expansion. I haven't really looked into the other expansion that much because they used a $1 pre-pledge. And so I was like, okay, not going to ever cover that. But I do like the look of this expansion because it gives you unique player abilities that you can have with your little Animeeple. You can use your Animeeple and new mechanics build on existing fauna objectives. So I think that's really neat that if you score the fauna objectives, you might get an additional bonus in creating more of a race for those things, because sometimes I feel like whatever, I don't care, it's not really worth pursuing those things. But with additional objectives and additional abilities through there, it definitely might be. What is Earth? I wish I knew. What is Earth? Earth is a place where people want to hurt each other when they should be just playing board games. But yeah, I love everybody having their own little ability, and triggering objectives makes those abilities happen. I think it looks really slick, adds a little bit of asymmetry in there, adds a bunch of these fun Animeeples for no reason. Yeah, it looks really cool. A nice additional twist to crunch up Earth if you found it a little bit too basic. So yeah, I think this looks cute. Definitely exciting. And something that I'll might be on the lookout to add to my own copy of Earth. It's tough, and again, whenever I have World Series of Board Gaming games in my collection, which I do, like I got this off of Kickstarter. My mom got it for me as a present, the base game way back when, and now that I sometimes go around, infrequently running stuff for World Series of Board Gaming, then I like to do it as they do, and we just use the base game. I'll be less inclined to add it into my collection because of that. However, I think it does look cool, and I think the asymmetry looks cool, and I think it looks easy to implement, and I think it is sort of, it amplifies what I want an expansion to be. In fact, there's a lot of expansions on this list because they're going to give me more things of stuff I already enjoy. But yeah, I think this is a really nice like expansion, so I think that's gonna be a good one. This one hasn't finished funding as I'm filming this, but it will have finished when you are seeing this video. This is Intelliwar, A Session to the Throne. They actually sent me an email when this is my pick of the week in the final crowdfunding countdown of the year. They actually sent me an email being like, hey, do you want to like maybe do a review or a playthrough? So I might check in with them about that. You might see more content on the channel about it. But I think it looks really cool. I think it looks like a great tactile tactical game. You know, you choose your battlers, they'll all interact in a different way. They'll all have a different movement pattern and a different attack pattern. And your goal is to fight each other dead. You know, as is the goal for a lot of these tactical games. But I don't know. I like that they're using chips. I like the quality of this. I like the drafting elements of drafting your team. It's going to find the balance. The reason I like it is I think it's going to find the balance of a huge sort of war game where you're assembling your army, which is way too much for me. But you do get that element of drafting and drafting your specific team and deciding which characters and which units to use. And I think that part of it is going to be pretty exciting. Plus, I like the chips idea as well. So yeah, it does stand out to me. Maybe it stands out a little bit more in terms of recency bias because I just looked at it. It was just the pick of the week. But any of the, like all of these, well, not all of them, but some of them, most of them were sort of picks of the week, I would imagine, as them standing out to me. And this is no different. So yeah, it looks neat. If you want a tactic game, I think this would have been a good one to grab. This is a very silly little game. Didn't raise that much money, but I think in the party game genre, I think it looks really good. The whole concept is you can see what this is. You can see that's a toaster, but I have to describe to you how to draw it. I would say, okay, at the top, there's 3, and I can't use any gestures or anything. So I'd say at the top, there's 3 squiggly lines. And then there's like an oval shape that kind of goes into a small rectangle. So starting from the top down as though you're drawing a sunset, and then finish it with a rectangle bottom, and then it will be attached to another thing that's almost a rectangle but has curved edges at the top. Onto the right side of that curved edge, there's like a stick and another little rectangle, but this one's a smaller one. And then there's another tiny rectangle poking out, but that one is sort of lengthwise a bit taller. And then you have 2 little squares attached equidistant on the bottom. And then you'd have to draw something. You have to create communication so that your team draws it, and you'd be able to figure out what the thing actually is. I think that idea is pretty fun, although just describing it right now, I'm pretty sure I nailed it. I'm pretty sure I got it perfectly, and I'm pretty sure everybody would know absolutely everything that I'm telling them to draw. But I think that's also part of the fun, is that people will inevitably not be able to connect with you. So yeah, I thought it was cool. I thought it was a cute little thing. And I love doing these lists because I never look at the prices. You know, there'll be one coming up where they actually emailed me asking like, hey, like, what do you think is too expensive a price? I'm like, you know what too expensive a price is? Everything. Certainly for someone like me. But yeah, oh, here's something that isn't, again, on the board gaming list, but I do think it's awesome anytime they pop up. This is the Board Game Geek Artist series. This is so cool. It's one of my favorite artist series that exists. You have all of these different reimaginings of your favorite games, and you can get them as posters and hang them on your wall, and I think that's really, really cool. I should probably replace my Macbeth poster, really, with something more board game related, because it's kind of just like, Macbeth, why is that there? But, you know, it's going to still be there. But yeah, it's a really nice, they're always really well done, and I gel with the art of some versus the other. I like Power Grid here. I kind of like all of them. What's my favorite one? What was the one that really made me the most stand out? I think Root. I think Root is so good, right? Let's see if I can zoom. I just think Root is so cool. It's just like such a great design. Definitely one of my favorite ones. Even though I don't really like Root. I mean, I don't dislike Root, but I've only played it once or twice. Oh, Too Many Bones is great too. Yeah, nice. But yeah, I think it's a cool project, and I'll be on the lookout for whenever they do Series 11 for sure. Moving along, I don't know what number we're at, but I do know what we're on. It's Baghdad. And the reason Baghdad stands out to me is because it originally was pointed out by one of my patrons, Franco, And he popped up in our little game session reports recently that he'd been playing a couple games of it and had been enjoying it. And I read that game session report, and I thought it was, again, sounded cool. It reminded me about it, reminded about him recommending it, and I think it's great that it's delivered. This was early in the year, and I'm just going to read the little review of it. We had our fourth play of Baghdad. It's been really fun. I wonder if it might be too similar to Viscounts of the West Kingdom, because in each turn you play a card into a 3-card tableau, and then you move figures around a circular board with the action strength based on the card icons. But no, it's pretty different. Each card gets played only once, and then I'll provide a benefit when they slide off, but only if the requirements on the card has been met. A lot of the scoring revolves around doing an action repeatedly and getting your tokens to locations that score for those actions. Your setup is very variable, so what scores where will change. Your asymmetric player boards may influence each action you prefer to take to. It's an efficiency puzzle where you spin multiple plates, but some plates are picked up with the intention of being dropped because you want the card for its icons but can't complete its reward requirement, or would benefit less from making the effort to do so. So I think that's really cool in terms of juggling that action economy and that efficiency and trying to get the best score. This one looked good, and I always love hearing about cool new games as well, as you lay a card and it ticks down until you either can complete it or like have the icons go off. And I think that's a really neat aspect of this game as well, right? As you plan ahead with these sliding assistants on this mega rondel. So yeah, it definitely stands out to me as I'm scrolling through, because I know people have been enjoying it, and I like hearing about that enjoyment. It's lower on my list because I didn't remember as much the intricacies of it without Franco, I don't think. But yeah, it's still cool. Still really cool, and like hearing about it and like hearing that people are enjoying it. So for sure it makes the list. So next is Baby Party, which I don't know if it was a pick for me or not. The premise of Baby Party, the game nobody expected but everybody loves. It's a dexterity game where you fling, flick, and drop tiny plastic babies onto block party cards, aiming for the perfect landing. But sometimes you have to throw them in weird ways. I mean, the best part about Baby Party is that I have it. And in it, I haven't played it. Extra sent it to me. But in it, there is a cute little disco ball. So there's that. There are all these like kind of sticky poker chips. Oh wait, no, this is just Chip Theory Games. This is just Chip Theory Games. I bet they didn't actually come with Baby Party. There's some own, yeah, they're Chip Theory Games. Doesn't come with the game. Really thought it did. And now I'm leaving this in here. Here's your little babies. As you're going to flick them all over. Look at that purple shiny baby. Comes in this stupid bottle. And then you're going to... I'm very embarrassed that I was like, wow, I can't believe it came with chips. Like, that seems good as you I don't know why these are sticky, and I don't want to know. But you can head on over to Bottles and Beats, the Baby Party nightclub. And as you build a club to throw your babies in. Anyway, I legitimately... Okay, so it is on this list because I have a copy. However, I legitimately think it's a stupid good game, and it will be a stupid good game, and yeah, it's... I am very happy to own a copy, even though I haven't played it yet, but I think it would be stupid to pull out, and I will pull it out eventually. I'll bring it to some board game meetups that I've got going on. It's just it sits behind me, so sometimes I forget it's there as an option. But yeah, I think it's underrated. It's going to be a stupid, funny game, kind of like Drapolter. That's what I'm hoping for, but just baby themed. Okay, moving along, we've got Darkleaf Gambit. This is the guy who emailed me in July, and I just got back to him now. That should tell you the anxiety of unread emails that can pile up. But yeah, I thought this looked really cool. Darkleaf Gambit for sure makes this list. It is a variant on chess. It is asymmetric factions with chess. So you're going to get all these boards and these dice and a setup for your asymmetric faction, and they're going to have all these different abilities, and then you'll play chess, but asymmetrically. I think it looks really funny. They're going with the metal fate chips. I see. And you do need your own chess set. That is why, I mean, it does feel expensive again, looking back at it. I know he sent me an email being like, well, you said it was so expensive. I'm like, I do say everything is expensive. You know this. But this does feel on the expensive side of expensive just for some like clan sheets. You got a bunch of dice and a bunch of metal chips, and you pay for the metal, right? Like if they weren't metal, you could probably have it a lot cheaper, but all the deluxe fiends may not have gotten it. Yeah, but I think the concept is really cool, and I've seen a lot of different variants on like, let's make chess different. And this is probably the most interesting one. I have a good friend of mine who quite enjoys chess, and so I would contemplate getting this just to play it with him. What's really neat is that I grew up playing chess, right? Like I was in a chess club, whatever. And then I haven't played in a long time. I was never that good at chess, but like I was decent. But then when I went back to play chess after playing like a number of different area control games, I looked at the board and I was like, man, this is just like an area control game. And I felt like I was so much better at playing chess just because I had played all these other games with much more complicated tactics. And I thought that was a really cool discovery. And so adding this asymmetry onto this chess can only make you a better chess player, I'm sure. Maybe it'll make you worse because then you're like, man, my rook used to be able to take 2 pieces at once, and now I can't. Yeah, anyway, I think it seems fun if you're a chess connoisseur, worth a try. So yeah, that's why I was on here. I put Point Galaxy on here. Honestly, I think it's a bit too high on the list, but I do love Point Salad. Like, Point Salad is awesome. I haven't played Point City, but Point Galaxy looks very similar to Point Salad. You're drafting cards and you're scoring those cards. You're making planets. Yeah, I thought it looked really neat, but I think it's a little bit too high. I think it should have been more to the bottom of this list. Here's a campaign that I really enjoyed and had to click on because of it, is the new revamp for the Ashes Ascendancy starter set. So they really, I have seen Ashes, it's been around for a while, and it's just like a head-to-head battle card game.
So it's just like Duel Monsters.
Yeah. But I really liked how they were deciding to introduce this to new players. I think the art is awesome. I thought this was one of the most streamlined campaigns of the year. And so even just the streamlined nature of it, being clear about the system, revamping the system for people to kind of like eliminate power creep, saying, listen, you don't have to worry about it. This is just a starter set you can get. I like that you get to, I like all the different tweaks in this too. Like I like that you get to choose your first 5 cards. You just choose your first 5 cards to always start your deck. I think like that's really cool. You're always rolling dice too to trigger cards. I think that's really neat. And this fact too, that every Ashes set tells you what cards are inside, and each one comes with a maximum number that can be added into a deck. So you don't have to chase rares. So I got the, Asmodee sent me the Star Wars Unlimited Intro to Hoth set, Battle for Hoth or whatever. And I'm going to do a review on that just as a perspective of being a gamer and just wanting an intro set and having that satisfy all your needs or not. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. They also sent me a booster pack box. So I'm going to do a draft game and see the merits of the draft game and see if that's a little bit more interesting. I've got more to talk about, but I just love this that's building off of that same TCG feel. That's only $50. That feels like it's actually going to give you an interesting starter set out of the box, because Intro to Hoth was not interesting whatsoever. So yeah, I think that's really cool. I think it seems like a neat system, doing a lot of unique things that haven't yet been replicated or stolen by other games. And I think that's pretty sweet. So that's our number, whatever we're on. Next up, we've got Dice Fights, Heal or Steal. So I've played Dice Fights. I played this with West Todd once upon a time, and it's a really stupid little game. It's just a bunch of dice in a big dice box, because at one point you can get the super dice and roll that big box against your opponent, which I think is a very funny gimmick. And you also, like, you'll roll your dice and you'll assign them to attacking, to shields, or to money, essentially is what happens. And depending upon what you roll, Yahtzee style, you can build up your shields so that nobody can attack you. You can spend your money to get more dice. And so you're slowly getting, well, not slowly, you're very quickly getting a lot of dice to roll and chuck at your opponent and see what wins. It's a really good game. And they're just adding in more mechanisms. But I think, like, it's worth shouting out, because it's a very simple concept, but fun to pull out as like, all right, let's just roll a bunch of dice and see what happens. It's one of the best one of those games. You don't want to think too much, but you still want the sensation of engine building. Yeah, I liked it. And so I think it's cool that they're still moving forward and they're still able to create a few more. And yeah, That's why it is on the list in the mid-tier section. I got to find out what number we're on. I'll be back in a second. Okay, we're on 23. So that was 24. 23 is the Voynich Puzzle, which has already delivered to people, and I don't know when it was funded. The original campaign. When was the original campaign? It was funded in August. It was funded in August, and it was already arriving at people. You know, it was just a pre-launch game, and people are receiving it, and people are enjoying it. My favorite part about this game that I think looks neat, and what makes me want to try it, is that you choose one of your actions. You have like a little book of actions. I'm sure I can find yeah, right here. You have a little book of actions, and you will let them grow over the course of time. So there's like 4 steps to your action card. And essentially all that means is you are going to develop your actions. You're going to strengthen your actions over time. So, but I think the way that you strengthen them and how you activate things is neat. And that will help you play in like 4 different or 5 different mini games. All of these mini games kind of work together, but they feel a bit disparate to me. They're all revolving around getting pieces of the puzzle, the Voynich Puzzle. So I'm not quite sure how they interact, but I like Salt and Pepper Games. I like them and their pedigree and them as a concept. And I think the way these look like they're going to interact seem interesting. I'm not completely sure. Honestly, this one probably should have been a bit lower on the list as well in terms of excitement, but I'm intrigued, right? I'm intrigued by this, what is a really simple action leveling up system, but it feels nice. So yeah, definitely was intrigued by Voynich Puzzle. Would be interested in trying it down the line. Number 22 is Garage Rock, which I thought looked very charming and cute. You have this dice tower, this treehouse, which operates as a dice tower. When you put dice in, and it can spew it into the 4 corners of land, the game, essentially. Basically, you're playing as the Battle of the Bands, and you want to level up your particular bandmate so that they're better and they don't suck when they get on stage, and go to a bunch of different locations around the map in order to, you know, get money, get skills, write songs. Seems like a fairly simple worker placement game, but a streamlined, nice twist, nice genre. Yeah, I thought it looked really charming, and all the aspects of it feel charming, and that's the type of game that I would want to interact with as well, is something that feels charming and something that like you can sink your teeth into, but it doesn't take itself too seriously. I like games like that. And so yeah, this one definitely stands out to me. Number 22, Garage Rock. Simple worker placement, charming theme, looks really neat. Number 21 is Flip Voyage. So I have the print and play files for this, but I haven't printed them out because I don't have a printer that works yet, but I'm getting one. Flip Voyage is a take on Flip Town, which really took the board gaming world by storm. People love Flip Town and the combos that can be created in a Wild West theme, and now you're doing it in a seafaring theme as you move around the map. You're going to turn 3 cards. You're going to assign 1 to move to a new location on the map based around its symbol, I think, or based around its number. Assign the 2nd to engage one of the 4 disciplines, so you choose the suit, essentially, and then the 3rd will be used for its action, for its number. Yeah, I think it looks great. I think Flip Town proved itself over and over again with people who enjoy it, and I think Flip Voyage is going to be equally as interesting with its combos and it hitting you in the dopamine center because you're like, oh, I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and I do this, and optimizing things. I think it looks really good, and I'm excited to play it, for sure. That's number 21. We've made the top 20. Top 20, and number 20 is going to be Football U. I was really charmed by this game. This is from Gabe Barrett, who runs the solo game of the month stuff. But this one is not a solo game, and finally something I can be interested in. I gotta click on the rulebook for any visuals to show you. But essentially you're gonna be drafting players to add to your football squad. You'll need to learn the lesson that I certainly didn't learn in fantasy football, is that you can't have all left wingers, and that's it. You actually have to have a balanced team. So you're gonna draft your team as best you can, and then you'll roll a number of dice to see how many touchdowns you can get against the other person who you're facing off. You can play this against a bunch of different teams. You'll kind of face off against everybody. But yeah, I think the drafting aspect of this was the thing that really stuck out to me. I think it looks neat, really streamlined. I think it's one of the most interesting football-themed games that I have seen. Not that I'm a huge football fan, but, you know, I'm not a fan, although I have no idea is it the Super Bowl yet? I mean, it's got to be Super Bowl soon, right? Because it's usually around my birthday. bracket. I'm sure the bracket's out. Oh, January 11th. Look at that. This is happening tomorrow. Buffalo versus Jacksonville, the Chargers versus the Patriots, Pittsburgh versus Houston, Philadelphia's in, Green Bay's in. Oh, it's happening right now. Los Angeles Rams has moved on, and Seahawks. Yeah, that makes sense. And San Francisco. Well, you know, San Francisco would have been a better team if they kept Kaepernick on it, but what can you do? Even still, I know people age out, but I'm still, I'm still a Vardy fan, but that's a different kind of football. Yeah, I thought it was a really neat idea. I like that you're chaining things together as well, so your teammates can have chemistry with each other, so it's a little bit of a set collection style. That'll look cool. That's number 20. Number 19, I have now played this one. There were 3 here, but I thought 2 were fine and 1 looked great. The one that I thought looked great was loaf, like you're loafing around, but you're also getting a loaf of bread. I don't know. I'm sure there's many puns on there. This is fun. It's a very stupid little game. I played it recently, and we played a 3-player game. Shout out to Shardius. Basically, a card will turn up that'll say, yeah, approximately everybody has to put in 6 hours of work today. Around 6. And you're like, yeah, but what if I put in 0 hours of work? Are other people going to put in 9 hours of work? Because if they do, they might get some bonuses. But what I want to do is I want to put in the least amount of work while still having the orders be fulfilled. So there are bonuses if you put in the most amount of work and it succeeds, and then there's a huge penalty if you put in the least amount of work and it doesn't succeed. So you're really trying to find a fine line of getting away with things and then capitalizing on when to use your cards. I found I used my low cards or my middle cards too early, and then at the last challenges I was like, well, dang it, I can't just like limp in. I can either put in a 2 and make this fail and like send myself down, or I could put in a 9 and somebody else is probably going to win, because you only score for the cards left in your hand. And that's exactly what happened. But I thought it was a very fun game. Quick, simple. I know other people in my Discord have been enjoying it as well. So I'm always very excited when a pick of the week ends up being a good game and people really resonate and really enjoy it. So yeah. I'm very happy with Loaf. That's number 19. It's cool to have played like a bunch of these and be like, yeah, I was right. Just because I like being right, not for any other. Number 18 is the Inish Big Box. Inish is a great game. Inish is one of those games where I'm like, I should own this, but I know so many people who own it that I don't own it. But if they happen to send me a copy, I would probably own it. I think Cyclades is better. I think Cyclades is so good. Oh man. But I think it goes sort of Cyclades, Inish, Kemet in terms of the order of those 3. They're often lumped in together. But this big box was a really good deal. Often big boxes are not good deals, and I thought this one stood out as being a really good deal. You get a lot of content with it. It looks so well done. The art is beautiful. Like, I get it. The MSRP being 136, yeah, I would have expected this to be around the 80 euro mark or the 85 euro mark, and I think they could have sold it for the 80 to 85 euro mark. Oh, this isn't in the $1 million range for that list, but it should be. Yeah, I really, really liked it. I like Inish a lot, and I also think this was particularly a great value. So that's why it comes in at number 18 in terms of our list for excitement. Number 17 is a game that I'm going to get when it comes in. The creator lives in Toronto, Mark Aradian, and I've been in contact with him because there was a group buy happening, and then I was like just on the outskirts of the group buy, so they had 5, and then to put 6 it wouldn't have discounted our shipping or whatever, so they're like, sorry, you're out of luck. But Mark said, he's like, I'll sell you one for the price of what you would have paid in the group buy. And I said, thank you very much, I'll take you on that offer. I think this looks great. I think this looks like a really great style of elimination games. I love social deduction games, but I love this because there is no elimination. It's like One Night Werewolf, but it's One Night Mafia. A little bit different of a one-night experience. Some people want the rat alive, other people want him dead. I think this is going to be a great, great take on the one-night werewolf style of game, and I'm really excited to get a copy and to play it. I think, yeah, I love social deduction games. I love games that create that interaction, right? And I just see this as a great framework for that interaction. So what was that, 18? Are we on 17 now? I think we're on 16 now. Okay, we're on 16 now. 16 is Pact. I liked Hollow Pact a lot. We did a paid playthrough of this, myself, Zach, and Colin. I liked it a lot more than the two of them did. Maybe because I was the beast who chased them down and ripped the flesh right from their bones, and all they could do was cry. Something along those lines. Yeah, I thought Hollow Pact was really cool. It's by Studio Mid-Hall, who did Beast, is sort of famously known for Beast, which we all played as well, and I really did not enjoy. And I saw the potential for it with the drafting. I think it's one of those games where you really need to have everybody know the cards, because if it's kind of like Puerto Rico in that sense, if somebody makes a wrong decision drafting, it can just set up someone else like the beast to just be unstoppable. And that's kind of what was happening in our games. Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it, but I do like what Hollow Pact is putting forward. I love that this beast is constantly chasing you. My quote was that it felt like the boulder from Indiana Jones constantly chasing you, which I thought was cool. I like that the modular boards feel, different enough. And there will be a different amount of challenges on each layer that you have to go through. And then as the beast, you have to figure out which one of the people is holding the actual prize that they have stolen from you, and you have to get that back. And as the people, you're kind of like shuffling it around as a shell game so that the beast chases different parts of you. It doesn't really work out that way, because as the beast, strategically, you're just like, okay, I'll kill that person dead first, and then nobody can switch the shells anymore anyway. So you just want to eliminate them and scratch them. But I do love, my favorite part about this is the cards that you pull. Everybody's getting these different abilities, and you're drawing from a communal deck, but like Beast has the top half, and the the thieves have the bottom half. So yeah, I really liked it. I'm very happy that I liked it. Again, I wasn't a big fan of Beast, although I think there might be an expansion for Beast coming down the pipe. I hope I'm not telling secrets out of school here, because they were reaching out to me and they were like, hey, well, we should talk about Beast coverage, but I've since gotten rid of my copy of Beast. So that one was a bit of a letdown. And so it was great to not have this be a letdown and to actually be quite good. So yeah, I like this one. Definitely fun. Could be a little bit high on this list now that I think about it. I think Mafia Blitz should have been over it for sure. Like this probably could have been around 21 or 23. Basically how I made the list is I just kind of dragged something. I was like, do I like it better? Do I like it better? Do I like it better? Sure. And I put it there. And then now talking about it, I realized, you know what? I don't want to be overtly biased to things that I've like done paid playthroughs for as well, which might be tweaking it a little bit for me. But I feel like I need to champion it, because I know Zach and Colin didn't really like it, and they're not here. Now are they? So yeah, I wanted to, because I know there was that mixed opinion. It kind of makes me more passionate about it. I'm like, no, it's good. You guys are wrong. That sort of thing. So that's where it's at number 16, I think, if I got those numbers right. Number 15, this kind of comes from a completionist standpoint. Now that I do have Wonderland's War, I bought myself Wonderland's War recently, which I'm so stoked about. Thanks to really Steve. And what's great is I got two people whose names are Steve, who were like, hey, you're talking about Wonderland's 4, like I want to can throw some money to contribute to it for you. And I was like, that's so nice, thanks Steve, and I can get you both in one go. The Steves of this world, class acts. That's why they couldn't, spoiler alert for Stranger Things coming up, mute it, mute this for like 5 seconds. They couldn't kill him in Stranger Things, even though it would have been like emotionally more impactful if they did. Okay, spoiler done. You can come back now. Yeah, anyway, Wonderland's War is this right here. This was Wonderland's War Duel, and this was for the White Queen and the Caterpillar expansion. The White Queen and the Caterpillar I want because I'm a completionist and I'm a sucker for factions. And then Wonderland's War Duel, I think looks really, really slick. It does look like a great 2-player version of Wonderland's War. I like how they're using the duel mechanism. So oftentimes in a duel, it'll be a lot of like, I cut, you choose, or they'll deal with these rows, like you have to take everything of a row. And so here there's a drafting element where, you take 3, and then somebody else takes 4, and you take 2, and then they take 3, you take 4, and they take 2. And so I really like how the drafting is broken down. I really like that it is set up for 2 players. I haven't played Wonderland's War with 2 players yet, but I probably will at some point. Wonderland's War is amazing. It's in my top 20 games of all time. It's Battle, Quacks of Quedlinburg, and I don't even mind that you're competing for these like tug of war sectors in Duel. I like that there are new factions. It's really intriguing. The only reason why I'm not pulled into it is because now I've invested so much in Wonderland's War, and god dang it, I'm going to enjoy it. But yeah, this is number 15 for sure. I think Wonderland's War is wicked. Highly, highly recommend. Like I said, in my top 20 games of all time. Moving along to number 14, which honestly, this could be below Wonderland's War now that I'm thinking about it, but this was just how it came out. We have La Patisserie Rococo. Rococo. And this is just Rococo, but with baked goods. It's a reimagining of Rococo with baked goods. There are some slight differences in terms of how the game is played, but it's very similar to Rococo, which I enjoy. You're going to have these staff cards, and you're going to play them to do something. You're going to take ingredients. In the original, you're making dresses, so you're taking like sewing kits and whatever. Yeah, but again, this is on the list because Rococo is really good. There's kind of a theme of this one, which is a lot of spin-offs have made this year. Not a lot of unique content stood out to me as much as the spin-offs did. But yeah, refining Rococo, I think Rococo is really great. So refining into a more streamlined, different themed version of Rococo is definitely interesting to me. I don't know if this is out yet, if it's landed. No, they're still working on it, because this was the very first crowdfunding of the year as we covered of it. So it was almost a year ago today that it finished up. Yeah, January 16th. Look at that. To January 31st. So it finished up then. But yeah, still excited, still interested about it. Is still interested in it, rather. That was number, I don't know, I have to recount these every time. 14? Number 13 is Casus Belli, which Martin Wallace definitely holds some sway here in terms of Wallace designs. I think he's what pushed it up so much. But I just remember this being very streamlined as well. I like deck building. I like Space 4X games, even though I don't really play them all that much. But yeah, I love the proposed asymmetry here. The exploration seems fun, and I think the proposed deck building seems like it's going to be a good time. Really, it's Martin Wallace that's pulling a lot of weight here, like I said. I mean, he's saying right there, in my opinion, I feel Casus Belli is the best thing I've designed for a long time. And I've designed a lot of stuff, yeah. But I also love the fact that there is this building tension that you can't outright attack people until certain triggers are made. So a lot of cool stuff. I think this is going to be a great game. That's number 13. Again, in the idea of expansions, I had to put Earth Under Siege Flashpoint. I really like this game. I think it's a really cool stealth game. I'd like to play more of it. And yeah, I've done a full video on it. They sent me a copy for review. Not for the expansion, but for the base game. And it was just really nice to see this game do well. I had thought it would be great in the first bit of it, and I got it, and it met my expectations. It's my favorite stealth game out there, and so adding in additional content, honestly, I don't think it's really needed. So in that regard, maybe it shouldn't be so high up. But again, just my fondness for it, my fondness for having played it, it stands out to me to make it number whatever it is, 12. We're on to number 11. This is Rove, the Rove Anchorpoint specifically. I was really shocked by how cheap and affordable this was, and very excited by that as well. I remember really enjoying my playthrough of Rove. I have a playthrough of it on the channel as well with West. He came down when he was working for them. I was like, hey, we'll play it, we'll film it. I said, okay, sure. So he brought it, and we played and filmed, and then we hung out and we played other games. But yeah, it's a streamlined game, and I love that it's such a cheap price point using the same systems. This is the Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion for Rove. Some additional factions that you're going to upgrade. I love the card playing element of Rove, where you have double-sided cards, and in order to use the back side of the card, you first have to use the front side. So you're like, okay, I'm going to have to attack here because I want this reaction to be available. And I like that. I think it's a really fun system, and that's probably my favorite part of it. I also love the 3-ring binders, or not 3-ring, the spiral bound binders. Makes it easy to table and just flip over the map. Boom, set up your scenario. It's got a really nice balance of exciting decisions while not overstaying its welcome, is what someone might say. Somebody might say that for the first game. So seeing something new, a new adventure that's actually cheap, that's affordable on crowdfunding, really got me excited. I think that's really cool. For $50, I mean, come on. It was almost a no-brainer. Absolutely interested in that one. That's why this one is number 12. You're getting, look at that cute guy. You're getting a lot of value here for a proven campaign game. A lot of value, for sure. For less than 50% of the price of the main game, yeah. So stoked about it. That's why it's number 12. Number 11 is one of my games of the year. It had an expansion, so yes, of course, I'm going to be interested in it, especially in retrospect. I just put out my review for Endeavor Deep Sea at the end of December, and man, it's so good. It's just dopamine, the board game, and that's what I friggin' love. And this is the exact, it embodies the what I want in an expansion. The only reason why it is number 11 is because I'm trying to like tone it down for Endeavor. And I think that's silly. I also think that Endeavor is so perfect as a game, it honestly makes its expansion not as necessary because the game itself is already so amazing. But I can tell you, having played it a bunch, I do want it. I do want it, and I do want these additional tiles because the additional modularity of the map, I think, is fun, and not being less guaranteed to have certain tiles come up, I really like. So that's what I really like about this. I don't really care about the other modules that are in there. I just think it's just everything. I mean, there's new scenarios. Yeah, sure, I want new scenarios. I want new journals. I want new specialists. I want new dive tokens. I want more variability and more randomness, but the base game is still perfect as it is. It's perfect. It's a 10 out of 10 game. It's in my top 60 games. I don't know where it's going to rank, but it is so good. I have so much fun with it. I love the chaining together things that you can do there. I just think it's awesome. And I feel great that I sold it at Breakout Con. I was at Breakout Con and I was chatting with Helena, who runs one of the owners or people who run Burnt Island games, and somebody came up and was looking at Endeavor, and they're like, oh yeah, how much is it? And I was like, come on, you know what? You should get it. I don't tell anybody to get games, but if you've played it and you enjoyed it, you're going to get it eventually. What are you going to do? You're going to go home, you're going to look at prices on 401 Games and realize, oh, I got to go out to the store and buy it there. No, just buy it now. You're here now, just get it. And I stand by it. And I was like, I don't work for them. I don't work for them at all. I'm not affiliated whatsoever. I just think, like, let's be real. If you've played it already and you think it's good, you want it. And I know you want it. He's like, yeah, I want it. And I was a very, very bad influence, but that was okay because I wasn't being filmed at the time. So I used my powers for good, for evil, but they were actually for good because Endeavor is so good. Yeah, love this game. It's awesome. So deserving of the Kennerspiel. Love Burnt Island. They just killed it. It's absurd. It's absurd that this wasn't $1 million campaign. Absurd. Well, I guess because it's just the expansion. So that's fine. I take it back. Was the original $1 million campaign? We're gonna find out. I'm curious now. It was absurd that How to Save a World was also only. That's got to be a mistake. That has to be a mistake. Are you kidding me? It only raised 75 grand the first time. That's absurd to me. Absurd. That must be a mistake. How is that not a mistake? Well, I mean, How to Save a World is a lot better than. That's sick. Also absurd. Should have raised more. Anyway, they're all good, but that's why the expansion was at 11 because I couldn't put it higher because I love the game too much. Number 10, this is a bit surprising to me. Still, the late pledge is still going on. This is Satchell Quest, which is a unique bag building adventure board game. I thought this looked quite fun. I like bag building a lot. I really do. There's just something fun about sticking your hand into unknown places and pulling out some shiny trinkets. Right? Who could ask for more fun than that? I don't think I could. Designers of Point Salad with development by the designers of Wonderland's War. I think that's great. I really like Satchel Quest as you're pulling tiles down and you need to explore your dungeon. You need to have specific things to explore your dungeon. So there'll be like monsters on the way that you'll need to have people to fight those monsters and deal enough damage to get rid of them. And then you'll add in new layers of the dungeon to explore. I think this looks great. Really, I thought it looked great. I thought it was expensive because there's so many chips, and when it's deluxe, you got to make the chips deluxe. I get it. Like the deluxe chips in Baby Party, right? But yeah, I thought this one looked awesome. Really stood out to me and really made me think on it with fondness as I look back at the different pledges. Very simple, but I like what all the chips can do, and I like that they're double-sided as well. So when you pull something out, you still have a choice. I think that's a really unique take on the bag building genre as well, and having to go through and fight bosses and delve into dungeons seems really cool. So I like that one a lot. Number 10, would happily play it. I hope anyone who got it enjoys it. Number 9, honestly, this one could be a little bit lower as well, but it's just because I played Darwin's Journey the other day, and I was like, yeah, I'm so happy I own it and enjoy it. I bought a copy of Darwin's Journey as well. I bought Wonderland's 4, Darwin's Journey, Great Western Trail, New Zealand, because I was sick and tired of waiting for the companies to give me review copies. And I needed them in my collection desperately, and I said, no more. I'm getting myself a little treat. Yeah, Darwin's Journey is just awesome. I love the chaining that you can have together. I'm back to my, I played completely horribly in San Francisco, but I'm back to my wiles now. And honestly, there's nothing about this expansion that actually excites me other than the new board. And so really, should it be in the top 10? No, but it's just because I'm excited about Darwin's Journey again. Not the best list, I agree. I feel like I'm rehashing a lot of stuff due to my excitement of the IP, but I think it shows that when there is a good game, it will get an expansion, and those expansions will naturally be on crowdfunding, and those are some of the things that do stand out. There's only one more that's not even an expansion. That's just like a little spin-off of something. Pretty good. I guess 2 if you count that one. The one. This is number, I said it was 9, but it's 8? I'm losing track. It's some sort of number. I don't know. It's number 8. I think the downside of a new board for Darwin's Journey is that you have to have a new like section for tiles, whereas you don't really need it. You could just get a board overlay, right? Like the only other things that are being added, because you have the same actions there, you have the same actions here. They're making it maybe dual layered. You have the same actions here. This is the new addition, right? But these actions are the same. They cost the same. All of these actions are the same and cost the same. These are randomized anyway. So, and these are always randomized as tokens. So really, you're getting a whole new board for the purposes of this. And I think that's really stupid. Whereas you should just be getting this bottom half. And then you're also going to be getting new player boards as well for the purposes of this. Well, actually, no, they're going to change it. Yeah, okay, they at least changed these. These are different. So they're different boards, so that's fine. But I think it's really stupid to not just have the maps and have different maps and different bonuses. And then you could just pump out a bunch of different maps and different bonuses, and that would be fine. And you could just line them up based upon their symbol and not have a whole new board. I think having a whole new board is really stupid, but I would still get it. It's just like in the base game too. There's like a 4-player board and a 1 to 3 player board, and they're basically the same, other than some having some little etchings of like 4 and 3 on it. It's a real waste. But the gameplay is so much fun, and having a new map would be great. This is too high. Wonderland's War and this should be switched, realistically. I just got excited about it because I really like it. I really like it, and I think it's an awesome game. Yeah, so I just wanted to talk about it. It's number 8, but it should be switched for Wonderland's 4. I know this list is all over the place, but hey, I'm shaking the dust off, and I appreciate you guys being here with me. Number 7 is Keyside. I love a good key party. Always leaves me satisfied and smiling. But Keyside looks really cool. Again, it's a new take on the Key series. I really like Key Flower. I quite enjoy Key Harvest as well. This is its own unique game where you're on a little boat and you're traveling around to these different ports based upon certain choices that you make, dropping your people off at the different harbors, and then activating all those harbors to generate you points and resources. I think it looks really neat, very crunchy, still fighting for space in these harbors to take these actions. Yeah, I think it looks crunchy, but man, oh man, was it expensive. Still, one that I'm excited for when it comes to retail. I think the Key series is great, and they all feel very distinct while having a similar art style, and that's pretty much it. Honestly, Key Harvest and Key Flower, yeah, that's what it's called. Very different games, but there's like a hint of DNA along with the art that makes them feel similar, and so I expect that from this as well. Very, very different, but 10% similarity to make you feel like, oh yeah, these could be in a series. So that's number 7. Number 6, the surprise of the friggin' century for me is Night Soil. I wish I'd had a chance to play this over the Christmas break. We were close, but we played Slay the Spire instead, and I don't regret it. But Night Soil is like This is a game, I don't like poop jokes, okay? I know I make a lot of jokes on this channel that I actually don't like, that I just make because I'm too lazy to come up with a better joke. And like they're fine, they're good enough, you know. They're good enough jokes, you know. But I feel like poop jokes are even like they're less than good enough. I don't think they're funny. I never have. And to have a whole game about shoveling cubes of poop, how could this be a good game? Was something that I was thinking. But this really blew me away as something exciting, an exciting area control game where you're pushing people out, where every spot has its own action, that you're trying to collect these resources, trying to clean up the streets as much as you can, doing your job as a night soil shoveler, trying to balance out how to use the spaces for their resources, for their actions, but still being able to take care of all the night soil that plops out, no pun intended. I think I think it works. I think the theme, I hate that I like it, but I do. And it was a great price, $33 US, right? Like came in a decently compact box. I don't know. I think this was a really good deal. I think this game looks really fun. It's still on my super high list. Definitely number 6. Night Soil from Grail Games. They seem to do a lot of stuff that I like. Like their campaigns never do the numbers that like a large company's campaign will do, but I think all of their games really resonate with me, and they always seem very streamlined, and they always seem very clear about what they are, right? Even if you're like, okay, that one isn't for me, or it isn't, or it is, they're so clear about what they are. It helps that they brought back Barony, but this, they brought back like Consumption, Food and Consequences, or whatever that one is. That looked interesting, and I've heard good things about. Yeah, I'm consistently impressed by Grail Games, and I always forget that they produce good things until I come to their page, and I'm like, oh yeah, and I read through, and I go, wait a minute. This is pretty good, because they don't do the numbers like any other company does. So Grail Games is a real slept-on company, and I think Night Soil looks really good. It's number 6. Yeah. Number 5 is Habemus Papam, which I've talked about a little bit on Rahdo's channel in terms of like excitement about upcoming games. Again, I think this is a silly, stupid social deduction game. You are choosing, you have an idea of who you want to be the next pope, and you want all the votes, or at least the majority of the votes, to go to that pope. I want a pope who is traditional. No, I certainly do not. And I want a pope who likes gay people. That's what I would like. And not a pope who is going to, you know, bring us backwards. And so that might be your specific goal. And so you want that pope to ascend to the popedom. But other people have their own ulterior motives as well, trying to influence which popes get elected. And so you're voting, you're taking a turn, you're voting, you can spend money to influence the votes, but you can also time out the passing, because if everybody passes and somebody has like the majority of votes that are out on the board, it doesn't matter if people still have votes behind their screen, they get to, like, that pope becomes elected. So there can be sneak attacks in terms of electing a new pope, which I think is really cool. And yeah, I think the theme is really funny, and I thought it looked quite good. So having Conclave the board game as number 5 is for sure the way to go for me. We're getting close. We're here. We've made through a lot. Uprising raised over $1 million. Okay, well, I can't talk about Uprising, but you know where it's going to be because I ended up backing it. Just kidding. This is, you probably will know my number 1 and 2 if you've thought about it, but I'm just going to keep on talking so you don't. Suriya or Suriya? This one has kind of stuck in my brain since it was put out. And I don't even know if it's going to be a good game, but I think it will be. I think it's going to be way overproduced, right? Because the core elements that I like is this deck building aspect. You have a team of people, and then you have, you're constantly getting to upgrade your deck. Every turn you get a card into your deck. And that's the main part that I do like about it, that you have your own separate deck that will grow your own, like draw 3 and pick one as you are competing in this area control game to maintain the most set of land, etc. It's a deck building war game. 5-minute setup, 10-minute learn. 100 plus gameplay variations. Ooh la la. You'll lead your faction to secure critical resources, build your forces, and outmaneuver opponents with easy setup and streamlined rules. Suriya offers deep strategic gameplay, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I remember this being, it's just like, it's minis for the sake of minis. It's by the people who did Barbaric, which was a huge minis game, and the rule books were awful. But there was something about this, of the simplicity of the game, how quickly your decks will upgrade, and how fast and furious you're going to be attacking people. I thought it looked really good. I thought it looked really good and very exciting. It's very simple. You're just summoning units, building bases, mining minerals, and all this happening kind of behind your screen as well. Very simple flow of the game, but I don't know, it was the deck building element and everybody's individual decks that grow in their own asymmetric way that really got me excited. And yeah, I think it's cool, and it's high up here because it's also one of those things where I was like, yeah, I remember that. It was early on in the year and I still remember it, and thinking back on it, I go like, oh, this kind of get me hyped thinking about it. I'm a sucker for these minis for no reason, I guess. I'm a sucker for all these, I don't know why there's a ton of fruit flies around, but it's probably these plants that have been dying. The perils of going on contract. But yeah, really thought this one was cool. And that's why it's the number 3. Really number 2, because number 2 and number 1 are basically the same. One happened at the beginning of the year, and one happened at the very end of the year. We have Everdell Silverfrost finished in January 30th, and then we have Everdell Emerland, which isn't over the $1 million, so I can still cover it right now, which finished on December 19th. And I didn't think I was going to get a chance to talk about this, but I forgot that I was doing this video, and I'm so happy I am doing this video, because I've been playing Emerland. I played at Emerland at 4 players now, and it's a tight board. But 4 players really made for a tight board, which I thought was very exciting and interesting. And I'm really bouncing back in between the two of which ones I like more. I go back and forth. I really go back and forth. I think if you like some restriction, Silverfrost is gorgeous, and I love the critters. I love these one-time critters that you're using for their one-time abilities. That might edge out Emerland for me, but I also love the way you can upgrade your cards, and I love your little dirt boys that you have. They're not cute critters. This one can be called Everdell Daddies and Dirt Boys. And the reason being is because it actually helps you remember what your little dirt boys are good for. If you look at the board, you'll see that there are spots that are only dirt. Can you imagine what type of critter can go there? You're right, it's your little tiny dirt boy. And your dirt boys are friendly. Your dirt boys love to play around in the mud, and that's why everybody can join, because they're just small little guys. They're just small little dirt boys. And then you have your regular grassy spaces where your daddy can bring his dirt boy along with him to double the resources. I think that's awesome. And the reason why they can double the resources in the grassy spaces is because, again, they're dirt boys, and they just wriggle on into the dirt and they come up with the resources that daddy missed. And then finally, we have these fountain symbols, fountain places where, guess what? The dirt boys can't double it. Do you know why? Because they don't have access to dirt. Yes, you're right. The dirt boys can't burrow in there and find some leftover resources because they aren't there. However, there's a second use for your dirt boy, and that, of course, is to act as a emissary towards a player who is already occupying a spot that you want to go to. But really, it's your dirt boy wriggling around and distracting that daddy who is already there so that you can slip in and get yourself some emeralds, and they can stop hogging it all. The little dirt boy walks in with you and says, "Hey, other daddy, check out my wriggling," and the other daddy naturally turns, leaving you a chance to access the resources. Do you get double resources? No, because your dirt boy is busy distracting another daddy. But you get a single resources, and that's why you can also use a dirt boy to distract a daddy who's at the fountain. Because again, your dirt boy isn't there to get your resources, your dirt boy is there to be a distraction. And when you frame it like that, Everdell Daddies and Dirt Boys should be the title of this, not Emerland. And I think Tycoon Games, if you're listening, you should change it. I'm really torn between which of these to pick. I think they're both really good for different reasons. I think I might give it to Silverfrost. now that I've played it a little bit more by like the slimmest of margins. They're both great. Because I really like the critters here, and I also the one-time use cards, which I think are great. And I also like that you have one special worker who has snowshoes on. I guess that's kind of like a Dirt Boy, though. I love how the Dirt Boys double stuff here for you. The quests feel more like the original Everdell. Silverfrost feels the closer to the original Everdell as Emerland does. And I also like the more predictability of the cards and how you can use more cards to trash cards in your zone. Emerland, you can't use cards to trash cards, but you want to expand your network with guilds. The last game I played, I got 6 guilds, so I could make a whole card tableau of 18 cards. So I had 19 cards at the end of the game because I had one that didn't take up something at the end of my city. Plus, all those guilds are additional scoring conditions. Yeah, they're both great. They're both great. I love Everdell. Everdell is my number 2 game of all time. It has only grown deeper because of Silverfrost and Emerland. I kind of lump them all together. Any Everdell is good Everdell if it's not Farshore. Farshore is fine, but everything else is just so much better and stands out. So yeah, that's my number 1 is a tie between Silverfrost, bookending the year in such a fantastic way. If you got Silverfrost or you got Everdell, Daddies and Dirt Boys, well, you know, you'll be very happy either way. You'll be a very happy daddy or a very happy dirt boy, depending upon how you're feeling that day. So that's the list. That's the list of my top 36 from crowdfunding last year out of 1,012 games and things covered. Those were the ones that sort of stood out amongst the top. A lot were expansions. I did feel bad about those expansions, but it was a nice run in the top 10 of some good games that I think are going to be great. If you got any of those games and you've played them, let me know how you feel about them in the comments down below. And if you like sharing your opinion because you're a board gamer, of course you do, well, I also want to give a shout out to the People's Choice Top Games with 2. This is the 2024 edition, but we're going to have the 2025 edition. Oh, the Central Hub. Let's go back to the Central Hub. I just searched it on Google. Yeah, there we go. Here's the Central Hub. You can go over here, and it's just a big geek list. I mean, it says with the support of these channels, but we just want to shout it out. I'm going to be doing this. I'll do a recap list of what the top games with 2 are, but I really like how this list is structured. All you're going to do, you're going to go to the survey. I'll put the link down below. I'll actually make sure that the link is in all the videos for the next month. So if you need access to it, it'll just be down there. To vote. And I think it's cool. You pick 20 games or up to 20, and you just write them down of which ones you think are best with 2. That's it. Castles of Burgundy has won every year. So if you think that is not the best game to play with 2, because it isn't, and it should be Bounce Off, because it is, well, then you can go and you can write it and you can order it as well, which I think is really cool. You just order the top 20 games, and they don't have to be 2-player-centric games, and I love this just as a list. And then the great Dr. Bude puts it all together in a cool visual arrangement as well. So yeah, I think it's a really cool list. I love when the community can come together and can vote on stuff and we can get an aggregate of people's opinions. And I think people's opinions, well, sometimes they're horrible if they're not mine. Other times, I think it's nice having a big discourse of people voting on things. That's why we like lists, right? That's why we like seeing a bunch of lists, seeing what pops up on multiple people's lists. That holds credence. And then seeing what pops up on just one person's list, you say, oh, that guy, he's an underground lister. I'm going to go to him for the real take and not the sheep take, which is why you tune into Ruined Board. Thank you for being here. That's it for today. I'll see y'all tomorrow. My name's Chris George. I do not have a catchphrase, but my legs have fallen asleep and I can't move from this chair. So I hope you like your content. I hope you're having a great year. I hope you're having a wonderful year. And thanks for letting me take a week off. I really, really appreciate it. It was nice to relax. And now it's equally nice to get back in the saddle and get back into board gaming, baby.